Imagine paying off your mortgage, only to have your home taken from you, not by the bank, not by the government, but by your own neighborhood's HOA president. This isn't a rumor. It happened, and the man behind it lived just 3 doors down from me. At first I thought it was just bad luck, but the deeper I dug, the more I realized I wasn't living in a peaceful neighborhood. I was living in a trap.
Willow Creek was supposed to be my safe haven. Perfect lawns, friendly faces, quiet evenings. Our HOA kept things in order. That's what they said. I never questioned it, until Evelyn's envelope appeared. It was taped to her door, a white slip stamped with final notice HOA lien. Evelyn was the last person who should be in trouble. She was the neighborhood's unofficial welcome committee, always baking cookies for newcomers, always keeping her garden pristine. But when I knocked on her door, she looked different, pale, tense. She opened it just enough to speak. "They're going to take my house," she whispered. "The bank." "No, the H." It all started with a $25 fine for a trash bin she claimed had only been out for 10 minutes. At first I thought it was just a clerical mistake, until 2 weeks later, the Millers left in the dead of night. Richard had just survived a heart attack, but his wife wouldn't answer questions. She just muttered, "Better to leave before it's worse." I decided to go to an HOA meeting. They weren't open to the public unless approved, but I walked in anyway. The room was small and stuffy. At the head of the table sat Douglas Crane, tall, perfectly groomed, silver hair, crisp shirt, and that unsettling politician's smile. I brought up Evelyn's case. Douglas leaned back. "Our records are accurate. If homeowners can't follow the rules, they pay the price. That's what keeps this community safe." His tone was calm. It felt rehearsed. I started digging. Public records showed over a dozen homes foreclosed in 2 years, all due to HOA liens. Every one of those houses had been bought at auction by Crane Property Holdings, Douglas Crane's company. It was damning. But then I hit my first red herring. A man named James Porter, a former HOA treasurer, reached out to me anonymously. He claimed Douglas wasn't the real mastermind, that Linda, the board's secretary, was running a side business flipping foreclosed homes. According to James, Douglas was just a figurehead, clueless to her schemes. It made me pause. Could I be targeting the wrong person? While I was deciding who to believe, a note appeared in my mailbox. "Stop digging, or you'll be next." No signature, no return address. That night, my car alarm went off at 3 a.m. When I checked, all 4 tires had been slashed. No witnesses, no cameras pointed at the street. I was officially in too deep to back out. When I told Evelyn what happened, she invited me in and handed me a manila folder. Inside, threatening letters. Not from Linda, but from Douglas himself. "Pay the fine or lose the house. You can't win this game, Evelyn." The handwriting matched Douglas's signature on official documents. It was too specific to fake. Still, James Porter's story nagged at me. I arranged to meet James in a coffee shop 2 towns over, but he never showed. Later that evening I found out why his car had been found abandoned on the highway. No one knew where he'd gone. Some neighbors said he'd run off with embezzled HOA funds. Others whispered that Douglas had taken care of him. The uncertainty made things even more dangerous. Then came the call from Paul, another homeowner. His security camera had caught Douglas himself creeping into his backyard at 2:17 a.m., holding a ruler, measuring his grass. That was the moment I knew Douglas wasn't just a figurehead. He was actively targeting people. We gathered all the evidence: Evelyn's letters, property records, Paul's footage, and testimonies from over 10 homeowners. The sheriff's office brushed us off. HOAs are private organizations, but the local news didn't. Within a week, the headline read, "HOA president accused of property scam. Residents claim years of harassment." The fallout was fast. Police raided Douglas's home and HOA headquarters. Inside, they found falsified violation records, altered meeting minutes, and bank statements showing HOA funds directly feeding into his personal accounts and Crane Property Holdings. And Linda, turns out she was involved as his partner. James Porter had been right about her, but wrong about Douglas being innocent. They were in it together. Both Douglas and Linda were charged with fraud, extortion, and racketeering. The HOA was dissolved, the liens erased, and the neighborhood finally breathed again. Evelyn's blinds were open. Paul replaced his fence without fear of fines. The Millers even sent postcards from their new home, thanking us for ending the nightmare. Douglas thought he was untouchable. He thought his power and the rules he twisted would protect him, but in the end, it was his arrogance that exposed him. Remember, sometimes the people who claim to protect your community are the very ones destroying it from within. And the worst crimes, they don't always happen in the dark. Sometimes, they happen in broad daylight.